This is Dudes Who Bet Sports.
What's up, everybody? We're back at Dudes Who Bet Sports here to wrap up another week here, another Thursday on the Racing Dudes Thursday podcast network. I guess we'll call it, Papa Dude. It's been weird. Only 2 shows today. Blinkers off. Magic's on vacation. No Magic Mike. And then we've got this one. So are you ready to kick off what should be another crazy week?
It's going to be a crazy week, and I am ready. College football is fantastic right now. What a weekend that was.
It was
last Saturday.
It was an incredible Saturday. Let me read the comment here because Mike, our resident Northern Illinois Husky fan, cannot be here live, but we actually have a comment from him. We'll read it. He said, unfortunately, I can't listen live today, but that was an unreal win last week by Oklahoma. I knew Thorne would eventually make a mistake. Auburn shouldn't have been throwing the ball in that spot. He had a really nice bet on OU. It was interesting as Hawkins, or he says, as interesting as Hawkins is, he's better option than Arnold, but the offense overall is brutal. I don't know how they compete with Texas in 2 weeks. So that's Mike checking in here. Like I say, he can't be watching today live. I'm sure he'll watch it back, but let's talk for a second about it. Can't argue with anything he said.
No, absolutely not.
I agree.
I can't. He's absolutely right. The offense is just atrocious. It's punchless, whatever it's just pathetic. They're in the hundreds in every category, offensive category.
Yeah.
Yet they're sitting 4-1, and you take a win any old way you can get it. It doesn't matter. You know, I don't think the Kansas City Chiefs are playing worth a crap, and they're 4-0 in the NFL. And that's all that matters. I agree with him. He is a better option than Jackson Arnold at this point. The only thing I will say about the Texas game is you never know what's going to happen in that game. And that gives Oklahoma a chance. It's such a rivalry. It gives you a chance in that game. I've seen a lot of OU Texas games where the heavy underdogs have won the game, including OU a couple of times. So anyway.
Where it looked impossible.
Yes.
And I mean impossible.
Yeah.
I have seen some very good OU teams go out and not only lose, get killed in that game. And I've seen Oklahoma do it to Texas too. So but to the point of where OU's at right now, I think what you've seen are different levels of bad. And with Jackson Arnold, it was catastrophically horrific.
Yeah.
And with Michael Hawkins, bad. But bad is better than catastrophically horrific. And the difference is Hawkins can make a couple of plays and he hasn't turned the ball over.
Right.
And when you have a good defense, you can hang in the game.
Yep. He didn't turn it over.
Nope.
And like you said, he made 2 big plays. And then the 2-point conversion was simply him. You know, great effort. Wasn't afraid at all. That's the one thing. He was not afraid.
Nope.
And Auburn is sneaky better than what people think they are. They have turned it over so much. They could easily be 5-0. But they've turned the ball over, and they're not good enough to do that. So they were a better team than I thought they were. I'm just glad we got a win. I don't care how he did it. Stole one there. Now I get a bye week. And hopefully you can go down to Dallas and play well, which I think they will.
Yeah.
Whether they can hang with them, I don't know. They're going to have to be better offensively than what they are right now, or they're not going to be able to hang with them. They're going to have to come up with something.
It still has a chance to be a long year. There's no doubt.
Yes.
I mean, but it was going to be everybody's going to get fired year if they lose that game.
So. Oh, they lose that game as bad as they playing on offense and coming on 3-2, looking at Texas in the face, and you got a bye week to think about. Well, it just makes it just horrible. Now you can go on that bye week. You can relax a little bit. You're 4-1.
Mm-hmm.
Your team feels good. And, God, I can't imagine what it would have been like had they lost. That game.
I was texting you, and I was texting Heather too. I said, we're going to have a new coach. I mean, this is just it's so bad. And
I don't know whether they would have fired him, the head coach, but I think there would have had to have been some sort of change in the offensive staff.
Stay tuned. You may get the answer to that. I hope you don't, but you might, because this has got a long ways to go before we're out of the woods. But I think they did, at least for a week here, avoid a catastrophic situation. There's no doubt. And The one thing that neither one of us can argue with Venables, they can make a play like that. Like they have been able to be tough and stay in
Yeah,
game.
they're tough.
Yeah.
They're tough. Here's the thing. We were talking yesterday. They somehow win 7-8 games with this mess of an offense, which we were talking yesterday. If somebody would have told us that Jackson Arnold was going to be as bad as he is,
yeah,
and then you lose your top 5 receivers,
yeah,
and then your offensive line's banged up, it seems to be getting a little better, but it's not the offensive line that it usually is.
mm-hmm.
With the schedule they have to play.
Mm-hmm.
If he can win 7 or 8 with this, it's a phenomenal coaching job as far as I'm concerned.
It's I'm not going to go as phenomenal, but I do think they've done a good enough job to survive.
Well, I still think they missed on Jackson Arnold, but everybody else did too.
Well, yeah, everybody wanted him, so
yeah.
That's just what it is, and
the thing is,
can't do it.
This season's not over. His career's not over. Some crazy things could happen. One thing about it, Michael Hawkins is not going to last the season taking the shots he's taking. I'm sorry, but he's not going to survive those flips into the end zone very often.
Yeah.
And it's a long, long season. He's going to take a lot more of those hits. So Jackson better stay ready. It's not the end of the world for him, but he's got to learn from this and realize, you've got to be able to go out and make plays. And he just hasn't been able to do it.
Well, that just did. I mean, what Hawkins has done is get stopped 80% of the time, but make a couple big plays and not turn the ball over. And it's been like a lot better. So, and that's the bar. And that's why I told you after the Tennessee game, I said the bar is so low. He just has to be adequate and we're going to like him. And he's been a little better than adequate because he's been electric on a few plays. And you can tell with Hawkins, he's going to be really good, but this is a lot to ask of a kid that was in high school this time last year. So,
you got to go play the number 1 team, the number 2 team. The number 1 is Missouri 9.
Yeah. It's not going to get easier. No. And
Ole Miss is 12 and so on and so forth. So LSU is 13 and you're a true freshman with your 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th receivers. Because the way I'm hearing stuff down there from the guys we listen to, they're not optimistic about any of them being back.
No. And not to mention, most of those games are on the road. You're going to have to go play. So
it's tough. But
Kevin says this is apple picking or family week for college football. I think it's a sleepy slate. That usually means upsets. I couldn't agree more. I think it's going to get weird this weekend. So Dennis agrees, said Vegas has him confused. So let's get to it. Let's see where the confusion lies. And we'll start with this one. We'll start Friday night. So there are games tonight, no ranked games, but Friday night we have Michigan State going up to Oregon, I would say, what is that? Cross to Oregon. Anyway, Michigan State going to Oregon. Oregon, a 23.5-point favorite in this one. They've taken care of business. They really haven't played a tough slate, but they've been winning. Michigan State kind of got spanked last week by Ohio State. Now they got to go to Oregon. Like I said, 23.5. What do you think?
I would give Michigan State more of a chance if they hadn't played Ohio State last week, and then they got to go all the way to Oregon. I think Oregon covers this fairly easy. I think Michigan State is playing as well as they can. They're just not there yet. So I like Oregon to cover in this one.
I like Oregon to cover as well because I don't think Michigan State's all that good. Dennis asked a question here. So why do I feel like Michigan State weirdly covers? I think you feel that way because Oregon's let some teams cover that maybe you didn't think they would. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of the thing. I still am unsure about Oregon. We're going to find out here pretty soon when they play Ohio State, but I'm unsure what Oregon is at this point. But they're good, obviously, good enough to be 4-0. Let's go to the other game on Friday night. Syracuse, 3-1. They go on the road to take on UNLV, 4-0. UNLV had all that drama, but just dominated despite the drama last week. This week, they're 6.5-point favorites against the Qs. What do you think about this one?
What they score like 59 points last week?
They just scored
And it
and
was
scored and
against
scored.
Fresno.
Yeah. I think maybe people didn't have them on upset alert, but they had them with, hey, that's gonna be a tough game. Yeah.
Yeah, I almost took Fresno. I almost did, but then I got to reading. And some people I kind of trust a little bit said they thought the wrong quarterback was playing anyway. So,
there you go.
and then I got to thinking too, if UNLV was going to go one of two ways. They were going to rally because the team had to be pissed that this guy quit.
Yeah.
So they were going to rally around him or without him and play the best game they played all year, or they were going to be in turmoil. And they went the other way, but I never dreamed they'd win by that much. Are you beginning to believe in them a little? I mean, they're undefeated.
Yeah.
They have a couple of good wins. They have a legitimate shot to make the playoffs. I think it may come down to them in Boise State.
Well, there's a few that are in the discussion. They are one of them. Yeah.
Yes. 6.5. Give me the running Rebels to cover this one. I think they're pretty good. I don't think Syracuse is that great. Give me the running Rebels.
That's another thing. You look at the opponent, I think is what I would say. This is a Syracuse team that got beat at home to Stanford in a game where they were legitimately beat. Like there wasn't anything fluky that happened. Like Stanford was a better football team than Syracuse. So I don't really know what they bring to the table. I don't think Syracuse is a bad team, but I don't think they're that good. And I don't think UNLV is that good either. I watched them play Kansas, and I've watched them. I saw the first week. I can't remember. Houston. And it was like they're okay, but they're not great. But I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's that many points. I think 6.5 is fine. So
Yeah.
I took UNLV as well.
It's a huge game for UNLV. This is a Power 4 conference team.
Yeah, and
it may not be a name, but it looks good at the end of the season if you get included, that's for sure.
Yes, I agree with that one. All right, let's go to Saturday, and let's go to just a brutal team. UCLA, I watched a lot of them this week. They are not good. They go on the road. What's that?
You watched them?
Well, yeah, they played Oregon. I watched.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see a lot of that.
I wanted to watch Dylan, yeah. But anyway, UCLA's 1-3. I watched them play Hawaii, too, that first week. They weren't great. They go on the road to Penn State. Penn State, continuing to have another Penn State-like season. They're now 4-0. 28 points. That's always a lot when you talk about Penn State, but this UCLA team is pretty brutal.
Yeah. Penn State, to me, was an easy bet last week to not cover against Illinois because it's 21 or 24. That was way too many against a team like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Way too many. I think they cover this one because I don't think UCLA can score enough. That's the key with Penn State.
Yeah.
Their defense is so good and the style of play they play, if you can't score, you're going to get run down eventually and they're going to score on you. So if I'm going to bet it, I'm going to take Penn State to cover in this one. But again, because it's Penn State and they have a tendency to struggle a little offensively, I'm not going to bet this game, but I do think they cover.
Yeah. I really think Penn State covers this one pretty easily. This is a disgusting UCLA team. And now, look, I think the only thing is like they did go to LSU and they
played pretty good.
It was fairly close, but gosh, they got killed by Indiana at UCLA. Oregon, they felt like they could have beat them by a lot more than they did. I don't think so. Yeah.
No. Another big long trip across the country.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yep, it's tough, especially when you're not very good. Let's keep going here. This is a huge game at 11 o'clock.
It is.
Missouri gets its first road test. They go on the road to take on Texas A&M. A&M, of course, lost to Notre Dame, but they've been decent since. They did get a big win over Arkansas last week. Now they host a top 10 opponent and a game where A&M is the favorite by 2.5. Mm-hmm. I was a little surprised by that. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, it's who they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Missouri just doesn't have that tradition, that name, If that was somebody besides them, like Oregon, they wouldn't be a 2.5 favorite against Oregon, I don't think. Yeah. So I think that's what it is. You got to look at Missouri, and you got to ask a question: are they bored? Were they bored with those first 4 games, or do they suck? Are they not real good? Because they should have lost to Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, on your home field. So that's red flags all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
They played one pretty good team, and that was Boston College. But come on, Boston College would be what, a 12-point underdog going to Texas A&M, 14
Probably.
maybe.
Yep.
Yeah. A&M went to Florida and won fairly easy, and that was a good win last week against Arkansas. Huge game for the Tigers because of their schedule. They don't have those big heavyweights on the schedule this year. This is one that if they can win this, man, they've got a leg up on maybe making the playoffs. Sorry, Tigers. Texas A&M is going to beat your ass.
I think Missouri will win, and
No way.
Yeah, I do. I listen. I don't think A&M's very good. I just don't, and I think offensively they still have a lot of challenge. They're not very good. I don't think they'll be able to beat them. I think it's a lot like the Notre Dame game. I think it'll be close, but I think Missouri has better players than A&M right now. I think
They're
they'll be
better offensively.
Look, do you think Missouri can score 28?
I'm not sure.
Okay, well that's
They only scored 27 against Boston College.
Yeah, and that's fair. And I think Missouri gets a 28, gets it late, and wins like 28-21.
Well, if they get to 28, I think they win. But
yeah, well, that's where I'm at. I don't believe in A&M. I just don't think they're that good.
I think you're trying to jinx Missouri.
Well, that could be too. And that would be fine. I will be rooting for A&M. All right, let's go to SMU and Louisville next. And Dennis, our resident Louisville fan, it kind of sucks that game was on Peacock last week. I didn't even realize it, but Louisville Notre Dame was on Peacock. They played at the same time as us, so I wasn't going to watch it anyway, but that sucks. But Louisville lost a close one. They are 6.5-point favorites here again against SMU. And Dennis says, Aaron, we've watched SMU 3 times. They're awful. I'm going to say Louisville might come out a little flat, but how in the world do they not cover 6.5? They, being SMU, seem to be getting a little bit better, but I kind of lean Louisville as well. What about you?
Well, I think SMU is getting better.
I do too. That's the worry.
Here's the thing. I would think that Notre Dame game would have taken something out of Louisville. I didn't see a play of it either. It was close. I don't think they were ever ahead though, were they? Were they behind?
I think it was always like a 7 to 14 point game. Yeah.
Notre Dame jumped on them pretty early, I think.
I kept checking it on my phone, and it would be like Notre Dame was always a touchdown ahead, it felt like. Yeah.
So I think they win because it's in Louisville. I would not take them if it was in SMU.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they cover that. It may be closer than that. I think the Cardinals come out with a win. Hope so, Dennis. It's a big game. Kevin's right. It's a big game.
It is. It's odd that the ACC is and the Big 12, I would say, have 2 very odd conferences right now when you're trying to figure out who's going to win this thing. Yeah, I mean, with Louisville, I think at home, I think they're kind of. I don't think they'll be flat because SMU is they're 4-1, and you put the tape on of LSU. I'm sure they've watched film. Those guys can see that they're talented.
If they're ready, they'll cover.
I think you're right, and I think they're going to. I don't think they're down about it. And the other thing is, the Notre Dame game, that's not a conference game, so everything's still right in front of Louisville. So I think they win. I think they cover as well. The one thing I'll say, and Dennis is referring one night, the SMU BYU game, and SMU just couldn't have looked any worse. They looked horrible. But the last 2 weeks, they've looked great. So I don't know what's happened there. But look, I still think Louisville's a better team. I'm going to take the Cardinal. All right, let's keep going. Your favorite team, Iowa, they get to go on the road this weekend to take on Ohio State. Ohio State an 18.5-point favorite in this one. I'm excited for this one because Ohio State's played nobody. Iowa's not nobody, but they still should be able to beat them fairly easily. If they don't, maybe Ohio State's not that good. That's where I'm at with this one. What do you think?
This is interesting. This line opened at 20.5.
Well, I feel like Iowa is better this
They're
year. Even
better.
though they
Yeah.
lost to Iowa State, I still think they're better.
I do too.
Yeah.
They're scoring more points. When is the last time they played Ohio State close?
Oh, it's been I
They
can't.
usually get killed by them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm wondering, why has the line come down 2 points? I filled all this out yesterday and it was 20.5.
Yeah. Yeah. It's moved.
Down to 18.5. That's odd. And the game's in Columbus. And Iowa still isn't scoring that well.
Mm-hmm.
24-14. I will be shocked if it's 24-14. I think Ohio State covers.
I do too. I think when we get into these type of games, you see the speed difference and you see, well, this game's over. I say the one pause on me betting a lot of money on Ohio State to cover this game. We really have no clue who they are.
No, we don't.
We know on paper what they look like, though.
They got talent. I mean,
Yeah,
we know
right.
their talent.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I just don't think Iowa can keep up with them.
No.
I don't know they can score 14.
Really? You think they'd struggle to score 14?
I think 14 may be the max.
Well, if you think that, you almost you don't have to, but you got to think Ohio State will cut. If you go into this game, you're thinking Iowa can't score more than 14. I think Ohio State will cover the game.
I do too. I don't think this will be close.
Okay. Yeah, no, we're in kind of the same boat.
Yeah.
With that one. Let's keep going. This could be interesting. Auburn goes on the road to take on Georgia. You mentioned it. Auburn's 2-3, but they have turned the ball over a ton, and they really outplayed Oklahoma up and down the field and just gave it to them there at the end. But Georgia, they're 22-point favorites, but they are coming off an emotional game, one of the best games we've seen in the regular season in a long, long time between two powerhouses. Can Georgia get up? Will they overlook Auburn? Will they be like, I just rolled the ball out, let's get this one over with? That's the question.
Well, this one opened at 24. It's down to 22.
Yep.
I don't think Georgia's near as good as they've been. I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
That was a valiant comeback, though. They were dead in the water. And you got to give them credit for coming back. Like I didn't. 30-7 at the half. I knew they'd make a little bit of a run, but I just didn't think they could get as close as they did, much less take the lead.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think they're as good as they have been. I've not thought that all year. However, I don't know how in the world Auburn can go in there and play them any closer than 22. If Georgia's ready, I think they cover. And Auburn and Georgia's a rival. That's a big rival. Mm-hmm. So I think the Bulldogs will be ready. I'm going to take them to win I'm going to take them to cover. I think they will.
Yeah, I looked at this for a while, and part of me said, I'll take Auburn. I think they can play them close. It's a good spot. But the other part of me is Auburn just went 2-3 at home and lost to Cal, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. So why am I going to bet Auburn?
Exactly. You can't do it.
No, I'm taking Georgia as well. Let's keep it going. I think this one's very interesting.
Oh,
Ole Miss goes on the road to South Carolina. Ole Miss kind of got exposed a bit. A very good game plan by Kentucky. They executed it. They were able to hit the big play when they need it. Kentucky goes into Ole Miss and beats them. Now Ole Miss has to go on the road and play a very similar team in South Carolina, and a South Carolina team that needs a big win. Mississippi's a 9-point favorite. What do you think about this game?
Well, I love it when every once in a while I'm right.
Yeah.
Like twice last week, I said Alabama's going to win.
Yep.
And I said Ole Miss is not as good as people think they are, but I did take them to beat Kentucky.
Yeah.
It was a classic example of they played 4 games against teams that didn't have a pulse. And I'm telling you guys, that Kentucky defense is damn good.
Yep.
They knock the shit out of you and they tackle.
Well, I was texting with one of my cousins, and she was like, "I can't believe how bad this Mississippi line is." I said, "It's a lot to do with the Kentucky front. That Kentucky front did the same thing to Georgia. Like they
Right.
are good up front."
Good. They had Georgia and couldn't score a touchdown, and same thing about happened to them against Ole
It
Miss.
felt identical. Only Ole Miss is Ole Miss, and Georgia is Georgia.
Right. And that's the only reason Georgia beat Kentucky.
Yep.
South Carolina is pretty good. You know, if South Carolina was playing Georgia, I wouldn't give a chance because they're South Carolina, but they're playing Mississippi.
I guarantee you, they think they can beat them.
You're damn right they do. Now they wouldn't think they could beat Georgia or Alabama.
No.
They think they can win this game, and I do too. So I'm going to take South Carolina +9. I think they beat Ole Miss, and I think the Wolves are going to be out for Lane Kiffin after this one.
I don't think since South Carolina will beat them, but I think they're going to cover. I think this is a one-score game. I think it's tight. I think the difference is South Carolina will not be able to shut down Ole Miss like Kentucky did.
Yeah,
I think this game will be similar to when LSU came in there. I think they'll give them all they want, and I don't think they'll be able to make the play when they need to make it to win. But that being said, I think it'll be a one-score game. Give me the points. Okay. Yeah, give me the points, South Carolina. And again, South Carolina is going to be crazy. Going to be crazy there. No doubt about it. Yeah.
No doubt about it.
All right, let's keep it going. One of the big surprise teams is Indiana. Indiana now 5-0. Here they are, 14-point favorites on the road at Northwestern. Northwestern's not very good, but boy, Indiana being 14-point favorite on the road against anybody sounds crazy to me.
How about ranked number 23?
I know, but I can't do it. But
I can't either.
God, Northwestern's not good though.
No, and Indiana's explosive offensively.
So I watched a little bit of Indiana, believe it or not. It was on the 11 o'clock window, and I can't even remember now who they're playing. Oh, Maryland. They can move the ball.
They can.
Yeah.
Northwestern can play some defense.
Yeah.
I'm with you. They're not any good. They're not even average.
Yeah.
But I can't do it. I'm waiting for the shoe to fall with Indiana. I think they're going to be 6-0 though, around 6 o'clock on Saturday.
So Duke went in there and beat Northwestern by 6.
Yes.
I think Duke and Indiana probably are similar.
Me too.
Washington was able to beat Northwestern by 19, but that was at Washington.
Yep.
They beat Miami, Ohio 13-6. Give me Northwestern +14.
I'm not going to bet Northwestern, but I can't bet Indiana. I'm waiting for some crazy thing to happen. I hope they win though, and I hope they have a great season. I think it's cool, but darn, I can't see them being this good.
Let me read off what's next. So they have this game, and I think Indiana's going to win the game.
I do too,
but I don't know that they'll cover. Is what I'm saying. So that's 6-0. Their next game is at home against Nebraska.
That'll be a hell of a game if Nebraska keeps their end of the bargain.
I feel like Indiana will
off this week.
I feel like Indiana will beat Nebraska.
Nebraska plays Rutgers. They may lose that one.
They might
this week.
Yeah.
You think Indiana will beat Nebraska?
I do.
I do too.
And then they play Washington at home. They're not very good.
They can beat them. I mean, they should.
So that's 8.
Okay, if they can beat Nebraska, they can beat Washington.
Right. So that's 8.
Yeah.
Then they go to Michigan State.
That's a win, or could be. Could be.
If they're 8-0, I think they'll be 9-0 after that.
Good Lord.
Then they are at home against Michigan.
Well, you know what? It depends. There's a lot of ball to be played between now and then.
A lot, yeah.
And Michigan could be tanked by then. Who knows?
Or they could kind of keep. Well, listen, I don't think it. As we sit here today, we can only judge it today, October 3rd. That's not impossible that Indiana will beat them. They also have a home game against Purdue.
That's a win.
So
that's 10.
They go to 11. Ohio. That's 11. They go to Ohio State. That's obviously.
Okay, what if they go 11-1?
That's what I'm saying.
Are they in the playoffs?
They're probably going to be more like 9-3 realistically. Like,
Yeah.
they're not. Some of these games were like, I think they can win, though they could also lose just as easy. There's
So
a path. What I'm saying is there's a path for this team where they could make it.
Yeah. Okay, let's say Ohio State goes undefeated, let's say, and they beat Oregon,
Mm-hmm.
and Oregon loses one, and Indiana loses one.
Mm-hmm.
Are all three of them going to make the playoffs?
I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Indiana's out.
Well, I don't know. It's a lot's going to depend on everything else, but it's super, super interesting to think we are sitting here going into the first Saturday in October, and Indiana legitimately has a chance at this. Like, it's not far fetched. Now, again, I don't think they're going to get in, but
no, probably not.
I think they're going to lose like 3 games, and
at least
if you look up Saturday at 6:00 and they've lost this one, I'm not going to be surprised, to be honest. But
no, I'm not either. But I think
it's there. They can win these games.
They can.
Yeah.
Those other teams are not that much better than they are.
Yeah. So,
if at all.
Very interesting to see what happens here with Indiana, but I don't think they're going to cover this week, so we'll leave it at that. All right. Alabama on the road. They're now the new #1 team of the country. Well earned after that victory over Georgia. They take on Vanderbilt this week. Vanderbilt has a pulse. They're not horrible this year.
They're not.
Vanderbilt, Alabama, a 22.5 point favorite here. What do you think about this one?
Again, I think Vanderbilt might jump on them. I could see maybe score first, possibly. Mm-hmm. Vanderbilt's got a really good quarterback. He's a gamer. They play pretty well at home. I could see this being close for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe you're looking, 10-7, going late into the second quarter, and Alabama gets a couple there at the end and pulls away. So I can't take Vanderbilt. I just can't bet against Alabama.
No, I'm not betting Vanderbilt.
No.
No.
Well, I know some people that are thinking about it, but.
Kevin had a comment here on Navy and Army. I want to comment on this after we do the top 25,
okay.
But I'll read it now. So Navy and Army roll again, 2-team parlay every single week. Defenses can't stop the run, and Horvath can pass. Go Navy. I want to talk about those two schools because I think it's really cool what they're doing, but we'll save it until the end. Yep. I'm a big, this. I love Army and Navy and Air Force. I love them. And I'm always a big fan of them. So. All right, let's keep going. Clemson at Florida State. That's next on the docket here. Clemson, a 14.5 point favorite here against Florida State. Florida State loses again, and they just got waxed on the road against SMU. This is horrible how bad this team is. Clemson has been nothing but positive since getting beat by Georgia pretty handily in the debut game. What do you think about this one?
I think this is the best team in the ACC. I do. I think they cover this easy.
Yeah. Do you know what he's talking about?
I do. Is he still playing?
God damn, that's funny. No, he's out. He's out this
week.
He
is out.
Yeah.
Well, it took 5 games and an injury to get him out.
He needed to be out.
Well, what does that tell you?
I can't concentrate. That was so good. He needed to be out after the first week.
Okay, so what does that tell you? They go 5 games with him and he has to get hurt to pull him. What do they got behind him? Nothing.
I think Clemson here's the other thing. These teams that are playing like a Clemson, like they're used to battles with Florida State. Yeah. They want to lay it on them when they play in that situation. Yeah.
I think they kill them.
Yep, I do too. Give me Clemson as well. Utah State at Boise State. Boise State 27 point favorite here. Utah State, they're pretty horrible. Boise State, they're not horrible. They're pretty good. What do you think of this one?
If you're going to bet a big point spread, I think this is the one.
Agree. Yeah.
Utah State got beat by Temple. I've seen Temple, and I think they scored several points in that game. Wasn't that like what, 28, 22, something like that? I mean,
let me look that up. They got double digits. I know.
Yeah, I
Holy
know.
shit, Temple's at double digits. And I looked up and they had won the game. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 34, 29, maybe something like that.
Mm-hmm.
30 to 28. I don't know.
I can't find it now, but anyway, gosh, I can't. I got my book, but there's so many teams I have trouble finding it. But Temple did beat Utah State, and like you said, here it is. Temple won 45-29 when they played
Okay,
Utah State.
guys, if Temple can score 45 points on Utah State,
You're horrific.
what the hell is Boise State going to do? Score 80?
Yeah, Boise State should absolutely annihilate this team.
I think if you're ever going to bet a big point spread, this is the one.
I agree.
I think it should be more than that.
And the other thing about it is, and this is something I think we'll kind of monitor as we go, but for Boise, okay, they lost, but they're Boise. They're in a tougher conference than some of these other smaller conferences.
And they lost
to Oregon, and it was very respectable. So they're still in that situation of we need to win, and we need to win impressive, and we need to build this resume. And this is a team that sucks, and we can do that. So,
yeah, and nothing's more impressive to the voters than scoring a bunch of points.
Yeah.
No matter who you scored on, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So,
yeah. Yep.
Absolutely. And the loss to Oregon, they lost by 3 points.
Yeah. So it's at Oregon, so they can overcome that. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
All right, let's go to one of the biggest games of the weekend. Tennessee, now number 4 in the country. They go down to Fayetteville, going to Arkansas to take on the Razorbacks. Tennessee, a 13.5-point favorite in this one in Fayetteville at night. You know it's going to be crazy down there. What do you think's going to happen?
Well, again, Arkansas should be 5-0, at least 4-1.
Should be 4-1. Yeah.
I don't think they blew the A&M game. They did have a lot of penalties.
Yep.
And they could have won.
Had a great chance.
Should have beat Oklahoma State. There's no question there.
Yep.
It's all a matter of are they ready? And I think you nailed it. 6:30 at night, Tennessee, number 4 in the country. I think they're going to be ready.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm going to let it right now. I don't know how good Tennessee is. I saw them. I saw them. I don't know what they were doing with their game plan. They pulled off the throttle and just ran the ball at Oklahoma once they got the lead. OU made a run at them. Could have backfired. They did it because their quarterback was young and they didn't want, and he was rattled. He turned it over a couple times. He really didn't do much. He made a couple of good throws, deep throws, but the guy was wide open. Well, I think this Arkansas crowd is going to be just as wild as the one in Norman. I am going to take Arkansas in the points. I don't think they have the balls to beat them, but I'm going to take Arkansas in the points.
I totally agree with the assessment. I'm taking Arkansas plus the 13.5. I think Arkansas will give everybody a thrill for a bit. I do think they'll get beat. I think Tennessee will win the game. Look, I'm 100% with you. I don't know that Tennessee's that good.
No.
And I want them. Hey, I want them to. If they go down and win 40-0, maybe next week we're saying, well, listen, maybe Oklahoma isn't as bad as we think. But I'm going to tell you something. It's not hard to beat a team that's quarterback is not running the right plays and couldn't make a play and handing you the ball. If we would have had I'm not saying you should have started Hawkins because you couldn't do it then. But if Hawkins would have played in that game, OU would have had every chance to win because Tennessee gave OU the ball in situations where you kind of just have to run plays and you're going to score. Literally just hold on to the ball and you're going to score type stuff.
Yeah.
Tennessee, Auburn moved the ball a lot better on us than Tennessee did.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I was much more impressed with Auburn than I was Tennessee.
Other than the fact their quarterback threw that pick. Yeah. I mean,
well, he played good other than that pick. Now, I know he made the pick, but
Thorne for 3 quarters kind of looked like the best quarterback we'd seen. Talk about OU.
Auburn looked like the best team we've seen.
They had for 3 quarters. They did. Yeah.
Guys, Auburn beat the shit out of us. This team did not.
No.
Now, a lot of it was they pulled off. I don't know why.
Yeah, they did. That's true. They didn't let Nico do anything in the second half. No. So I don't like that. But And again, this could be a situation where Nico, its second road game, he may have a little bit of a coming out party.
Exactly.
And if that happens, well, Arkansas is in big trouble. But 13.5 is a lot. I think they cover, but I do think Tennessee
will on a Saturday night. Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough game for them, but I do think Tennessee's gonna win that game. Yeah.
Yep.
Michigan goes on the road to take on Washington in a rematch of two of the national championship last year, and two teams that are vastly different this year. Michigan 4-1 with a prehistoric offense. Washington 3-2 with they're bad. I watched a lot of. They're just not good. They are the favorite in this game. I don't know what do you do?
Is this one almost as dumb as the BYU game?
Yeah,
last week against Baylor, but BYU held on and came through.
I don't think Michigan's very good, but they're better than Rutgers and they're better than Washington State, aren't they?
I can't believe they're not favored.
I think Michigan wins the game.
I do too.
Yeah,
I'm not going to back off on this one. If Washington was better, but they've shown very little.
Yeah. They
lost at home to Washington State. I think Michigan's better than them. The only thing is Washington State can score. Washington just doesn't have much offense.
Yeah.
And I don't think they can. I have to take Michigan. They've played a tough schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And now they were horrid last week.
They've been horrid every game.
That was predictable. Well, they played good against USC. But
yeah,
I've got to take Michigan. I just do. I just haven't seen enough out of Washington.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's tough, man. I think Michigan wins it, but they're not. Neither team's very good, and I do think Michigan defensively is good.
I do too.
So I think that's
Washington offensively is not.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be the big difference. But
I do too.
Yeah, line of scrimmage, I think Michigan will dominate the game.
I do too.
All right, USC goes on the road to take on Minnesota. USC, 8-point favorite here on the road, taking on the Golden Gophers. The Golden Gophers, speaking of them, Michigan, they made a charge at them, and I was told that they gave Michigan all the points in that game. So they kind of blew it. But they're offensively horrific, and USC getting better. They had a nice little win. They got behind against Wisconsin, came back and beat them. What do you think going to happen?
They beat them easy too.
Yeah. Yes.
Minnesota, I didn't see it. They got screwed on the onside kick.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, they recovered it and they got screwed on.
They called them off sides and they went off sides.
And they weren't. Yep.
They would have, and that was what down the field on about the 30-yard line where they recovered. Wasn't it 30 or 40?
I would predict if they don't make that call, they at least have a chance to tie the game. Yeah.
So they got screwed. Doesn't matter. You're the number 11 team in the country, and you're only an 8-point favorite over Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think they cover this?
Yeah, I think they do. Yeah,
I do too.
Again, this is another game. I said it about the Michigan game. I'll say about the Minnesota game. This is another game where, like USC last year, probably would not lose, or probably would not. They would give up like 40 points, right? Yeah. They need to go up there and stop them. And they didn't against Michigan, but this is a little bit easier, in my opinion.
I do too. I think they cover.
Yeah. Okay. We both think they're covering them. Well, that's depressing, but we got to be honest, right?
Well, yeah. I don't think they're bad.
No, I think USC is better. I still don't think they're there. That's what I would.
No, they're not. They're okay.
All right, Baylor and Iowa State. That'll be next up at Ames this weekend, and sneaking up the rankings, Iowa State. They're now 4-0, 12.5-point favorites here at home against a Baylor team who, boy, they can't find a way to win. They had a chance against BYU and they still couldn't get it done. What do you think is going to happen up in Cyclone Land this weekend?
They've lost 2 straight toughies.
Mm-hmm.
That game in Colorado was a killer.
Yep.
They had that one. They got way behind against BYU and I think it was 21-0 at the end of the first quarter. Yep. Made a great run. Got it. I think it ended up 34-28. Had a chance to win the game. Didn't do it. 2 straight weeks of close, but no cigar. how much does that take out of you?
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
think it takes a lot out of you. On the other hand, Iowa State, what was it, 20-0 over Houston? 20-3, something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
And it was 3-0 for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
That had to be one of the boringest games ever.
Mm-hmm.
They're not scoring a lot. 12.5 for them is hard to cover. We said last week, I think they were 16.5, hard to cover. They did. It's at home. Baylor has got to be down. They got to be.
Yeah.
I like the Cyclones to cover this one, but I'm not going to bet it.
Yeah, I think the Cyclones will get the cover as well. It's going to read off. They have a weird. They scored 52 points against Arkansas State, and that's maybe they're not
good for them.
Right. They're not very good, I guess. But 21 against North Dakota, 20 against Iowa, 20 against Houston.
That's hard to bet a team. It's a 12.5 point favorite that can't score.
Give me Baylor plus 12.5.
Because Baylor can score.
I think Baylor can keep it very close. I think this will be close.
Yeah, this could be a toughie for the Cyclones.
Yeah, but I do think they're going to win. But yeah, give me Baylor 12.5. That's just tough. That's tough for the Cyclones. Then finally, and I don't know really if they deserve to be hosting it or not. That may be another discussion. But California hosts game day for the first time ever this Saturday.
Okay.
What? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Why? Why?
Where else you going, I think, is the problem.
Well, they haven't been out there, I guess. Yeah, it is kind of a week. I don't know. South Carolina, Mississippi, I guess not. All right. I guess Miami's undefeated. So
yeah. So Miami is a 10-point favorite here at Cal in a weird game that this is a conference game. I feel like Cal is going to be jacked up for this game. I think it's probably the biggest thing to happen to Cal football probably since Aaron Rodgers was able to beat USC out there a long time ago. What do you think? What's going to happen here?
Well, Miami should not be 5-0. They should be 4-1. They got clobbered last week by Virginia Tech. I mean, Tech hammered them. Couldn't stop them. It was a typical Miami choke job. Might have woke them up. I don't know how good California is. I don't think they're very good. They did go beat Auburn, though. Yeah, at Auburn. And if you can do that, you can beat Miami at home.
Yeah. They did lose to Florida State, though. And if you can lose to them, you can lose to anybody. So
I can't take California.
Give me Cal.
I hope you're right.
Give me Cal.
I hope so.
Well, give me Cal plus the 10. I don't think they're winning, but give me Cal plus 10. I like them.
I don't know if they're good enough. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll do it for the top 25. I do have some requests from Dennis, but do you have any other ones before we get to those?
I'm staying in the ACC. Okay. There's 4 games in the ACC just to kind of look at.
All right. I've got the ACC pulled up now. Tell me who.
All right. Our first one is an 11 a.m. game. Boston College at Virginia. Pick'em game. Virginia, slight favorite. Give me the Eagles to beat the Cavaliers straight up in this one.
I agree with that one.
All right. Wake Forest is at North Carolina State.
Yep.
It's only a 4-point game. I know North Carolina State's not very good. I've got to take North Carolina State to cover 4 against Wake Forest.
Okay.
Virginia
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. I saw a Stanford team on a Friday night look pretty damn good against Syracuse.
Yep.
Virginia Tech just lost one of the most heartbreaking losses of all time at Miami.
Mm-hmm.
They got to go across the country to play Stanford. They're 7.5-point favorites. Give me the Cardinal in this one. I love this one.
Okay. I would stay away from it, but I think that's the pick.
Yeah, I just don't know how Tech can get back up for that one and go all the way across the country. That's a toughie. The last one is Duke. Is that on there?
Duke. Yep.
At Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Duke coming off a fantastic win, last second win over their arch rival, going down to Georgia Tech. Got to be sky high, 9.5 for Tech. Give me Duke to beat that spread.
Wow. I would take Tech in that one.
Duke's undefeated.
I don't think they're very good.
How about this one?
Okay.
Big 12.
Big 12.
West Virginia at Oklahoma State.
Mm-hmm.
Both teams desperate
Mm-hmm.
for a win. 3-point favorites for the Cowboys. Are they ever going to wake up?
I would have to go Oklahoma State.
I would too. I just think that line's too short.
Yeah, I agree. Got to go Oklahoma State.
And here's an interesting one. Oh, here's one. In the Mountain West, our oblivious game of the week, Nevada. They're terrible.
Okay. Nevada and San Jose. Okay.
7 points. Can't
I
they
would have-
cover that?
Yeah, I'd have to take San Jose.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've watched San Jose a couple times. They're not bad.
Yeah. And here's another interesting one. The only game in the SEC that's not involving a ranked team.
Okay.
Central Florida is at Florida.
This is a really good game. Yeah.
They were horrid last week, Central Florida.
Yeah.
At home. Colorado killed them.
Yep.
I think Florida's laying for them. They beat them in a bowl game a couple of years ago.
I don't know.
I can't take Central Florida. I can't.
I can't take either one of them, though.
I think Florida's going to win that game.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So, big losers of the week, Ole Miss, Utah. Oh, God. Losing to Arizona.
Yeah.
But you know what? It was bound to happen. You can't keep winning with your backup quarterback.
Yep. Yep.
And Central Florida, terrible loser. Luckiest of the week, Miami, Oklahoma, and Michigan. No doubt.
Oh,
about
yeah.
it.
No
It
doubt.
was a great, great week. Big surprises. We've covered them. Duke, Indiana, and you mentioned Rutgers. They're undefeated.
Yep.
And I'm having to eat my words about Colorado. They're looking pretty good. They're 4-1.
Yeah.
That conference is not very good. They're off this week. My hat's off to them so far.
I want to throw Kansas as just a huge disappointment as well. 1-4.
Yeah. They've got they're at Arizona State this week.
Yeah.
I don't think they beat them.
I don't know. Arizona State's not very good either. That'll be a weird
They're
game.
3-1 though.
Yeah, but they beat
I know.
nobody. So
I don't know if they can win. I don't.
It's bad. It's bad. Yeah, and you know what? Kevin says they lost their offensive coordinator and team fell apart. Their offense looks like shit this year. And that's the one thing when you played them the last when they had that offensive coordinator, it's like they're going to be able to score. They can move the ball. They can't move the ball.
It'll be nice weather in Arizona. 106.
Ooh. It's nice at all.
It's a dry heat, though.
It is a dry heat. Exactly. Exactly. All right. Any other ones, or should we go?
No, that's about it. Let's go to Dennis's.
Didn't know you covered them all. The only
okay.
one you didn't cover that Dennis want to talk about was Texas State minus 13.5 against Troy. What do you got there?
That's a good one.
You like that? That's going to kick off in 7 minutes.
It's down to 14.5.
Mm-hmm.
Troy's awful.
They are bad this year.
Louisiana Monroe beat them.
Yeah.
At Troy last week. Forget who it was, but they said pick Troy, and they didn't win. I don't like Texas State very well. I'm staying away from it. Those Sun Belt games like that, I don't have a good read on it. I think Troy's bad. If I was going to pick it, I'd pick Texas State, but it's not one that I'm keen on. I like the other game better.
Okay. All right. Sounds good to me. Okay. So let's go to the NFL. Let's do that.
Yeah, we got to because it's kicking off here in a minute.
All right. Did I click that? There we go. Okay. NFL.
Yep.
Here we go. Are you ready? This is always the funnest part of the show right here.
Yeah, we're going to get out here early tonight.
All right. So, no, I got some stuff to talk about at the end too tonight.
Okay. We
It
will
could be
breeze through
midnight
this
by the
one.
time we get off the show. I got so
Okay,
much
good.
for you. All right, let's kick it off tonight. Buccaneers, Falcons. Falcons, 2.5-point favorites here at home against our Buccaneers. What do you think?
Our Buccaneers is right. Love the 2.5. By the way, talk about parity. Do you know after 4 weeks, 3 weeks?
4 weeks.
4 weeks. We have 2 teams that are undefeated.
Yep.
Out of 32.
Crazy.
We have 2.
Crazy.
One of them you never, I don't care who you are, there's no way you would have predicted the Minnesota Vikings with Sam Darnold would be one of the 2 teams that would be undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about the Chiefs in a minute. On the other end of the spectrum, there's only one team that's lost all 4 games.
Yep.
And that's Jacksonville.
Yep.
So is parity good or does it make for boring football? This is amazing to me, these statistics.
Yep.
All right, Tampa Bay and Atlanta. If Baker and the Bucks play like they did last week, they're going to win this game. I like them tonight a lot.
I agree.
I think they're better. Atlanta is not bad, and they're at home, but they haven't played really well. I like the Bucks tonight. I'm taking them heads up to win the game.
Yep, I like the Bucks tonight as well. I think they're a little bit better than Atlanta. The Bucks did not play well against Denver, but the other 3 games they've played very well. So I'm taking them. I'm with you. Give me the.
They just obliterated Philadelphia last week.
Philadelphia has a laundry list of problems.
They do. No doubt.
They're not very good.
No.
All right, let's keep going. You
Here we
mentioned
go.
it. We're going to London because the Vikings are 4-0, and they'll take on the Jets. 8:30 in the morning start time for here for us locally. Minnesota, a 2.5-point favorite in this one. Who you got?
God, don't you know that Minnesota wishing they didn't have to go over there and play this game?
Yes.
Damn. Well, these are so hard. The London games, you just
impossible.
I mean, especially in this one, the Jets they're decent. They're coming off a terrible loss. Losing at home to Denver. I don't know. It's a terrible loss. Minnesota, don't you think their bubble's about to burst? I mean, I just don't see how they can keep doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm not betting it because it's in London. You don't know how these teams are going to react. Nobody knows. If I had to bet it, I'd take the Jets simply because Minnesota's due to lose.
Yep, time to lose. Jets win this game. The Jets could not have looked any worse last week. That means they win this week.
That's right.
Jets to beat the Vikings. Now the game I think that they're going to write books about after the season is over. The Panthers and the Bears up in Chicago. Yeah. The Bears are 4-point favorites against the Panthers here. Who you got?
Well, the Bears made fools out of me last week when I said there's no way they're going to beat the Rams. And
they did it.
Yep. And the Rams need their ass kicked all the way back to L.A. By the way, your Super Bowl pick's not looking good at this point.
It's not looking good.
No, they do have a lot of injuries. Oh, give me the under.
Yeah, I like that. Give me the under. I'll take the Bears in a game that is just disgusting to even think about. Let's keep going. Ravens and the Bengals. Who knows? These games are ridiculous. The Ravens are 2.5-point favorites here on the road against Cincinnati. Who you got?
I think Baltimore's the best 2-2 team I've ever seen.
True.
God, they played great last week.
They look good.
They really and down in Dallas, till they about gave it up in the fourth quarter. And they should have beat the Chiefs. The Bengals got a must-win last week. They had to win. They did. Give me the Ravens. I think they're going to cover.
Give me the Ravens as well. I just think they're a better team than the Bengals. But you never know how the Ravens are going to play.
This game?
This is brutal. The Dolphins take on the Patriots. The Dolphins, if you have not watched them since the Tua injury, holy shit, they are bad. They take on the Patriots, who are bad. The game's in New England. The Patriots are favored in a game. I didn't know if that would happen all year. It happens in week 5. I think the Patriots are in a little better spot than
Miami. I do too.
Right
I can't. I've seen Miami the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Oh, they they're bad. Yeah.
And the Patriots are at home, which means nothing either. I'm taking the Patriots because I just don't see how Miami can beat anybody.
Kevin B says we need help.
No,
Look,
wait a minute, Kevin. We're trying
well,
to make
no,
you happy.
he thinks we are a sicko for betting New
Oh.
England. But well, listen, at the
I
end of
thought
the
he
day,
liked New England.
at the end of the day, if you're betting the Dolphins on the road, you need help. If you're betting New England, you need help. If you're betting this game, you need help. And
Maybe I'll look at the under this one too. This could be 10-7.
I think the under is very playable here, even though it's 36.5. Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's keep going here. Between a team that is always a total disaster, the Cleveland Browns, they go on the road and take on a real up-and-coming, actually, team.
This is a fun team.
This is a fun team. The Commanders, I like to watch them. They're fun.
Yeah.
This is weird, though. They're only 3-point favorites here against the Browns. What do you think of this one?
Well, the Browns were supposed to be pretty good. And I think, aren't they getting Chubb back this week?
Are they?
Somebody at school told me that today. Some kid.
So okay, well.
He was playing fantasy football and was talking about it. So I like Washington to cover. I don't think the Browns could beat the Dolphins.
I wouldn't bet the Browns if they're playing the place where we went to high school. How about that? Utah. The Colts take on the Jaguars. Jaguars, that's right. You didn't misread it.
What?
The Jaguars are 3-point favorite. This is a disaster of a team. They're 3-point favorites against the Colts.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah, this is a setup.
Feels like a trap.
It does. Indy's not very good, but they're better than Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. I got to take Indy, but this one's a scary one.
They got the best quarterback in there now. They got their better quarterback. True. Flacco's playing. Give me the Indy. I think that I see that as a positive. Give me Joe Flacco.
The Browns should have got him back, don't you?
I think the Browns fans would be dying to have him back right now after having to watch who they have given millions and millions and millions of dollars to. There's no doubt. All right, let's keep. At least he's an adult. Baker wasn't an adult, so that at least they got an adult for a quarterback. All right. Bills taking on the Texans. That's the next one on the docket here. This would be a good game. The Bills are a 1-point favorite. I will say this. Now, the Bills, they got their ass beat last week. No doubt about it. But overall, I think they've been a little better than the Texans. I have not been overly impressed with the Texans so far.
I think this one's really hard.
Yeah, I kind of want to take the Bills in this game.
I'm going to take them. I'm with you. I don't think Houston's great and haven't played real well. And the Bills are just the Bills. They're hard to beat.
Yeah, I think they'll play better this week.
I do too. I like them to win in this one, but boy, this is a tough game.
It's really tough game. I think people really, really want Houston to be good, and I kind of do too because they're kind of a fun team. They're kind of like, anytime you got a young quarterback that's good, it's fun, but they really haven't been impressive. So I'm going to take the Bills. Yeah. Well,
they were only 9-8 last year, 10-8,
right?
Whatever.
Yeah,
weren't like they were fantastic.
Are you ready for this?
I am.
Denver, who really 3 out of 4 weeks has looked like the worst team in the league. Somehow they're 2-2 though, because they played a great game against Tampa, and then somehow they won last week. They take on the Raiders, who are somehow 2-2. I mean, these two teams stink. They are horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, who's winning? Denver's 2.5-point favorite.
I'm taking Denver.
I am too.
Yep. This is the kind of game those they lost last year when they had to have these kind of games.
Totally. Yeah.
I mean, look, if they win this one, they're 3-2. The Chargers don't play this week.
Yeah.
So they're half a game ahead of them. They're a game ahead of they're in second place.
Yeah.
In the West. That means something down the stretch, maybe for wild card purposes.
Yep.
Huge game.
Yeah.
They got to get it. They have to.
Yep.
Doesn't mean they will, but they have to.
They're horrible, but I think they'll beat. I think the Raiders are horrible too. So, All right, let's keep going. God, these games are either horrible or good. There's no in between. I feel like Cardinals going into the 49ers. 49ers 7.5-point favorites. They're a little bit healthier. at wide receiver, tight end, all that kind of things. Cardinals, man, this has been disappointing for me so far. What do you think
Terrible.
about this one? That's a decent amount of points. I'll say that.
Yeah, it is for a divisional game as
Yeah.
well. But they've been abysmal.
Yeah.
The 49ers looked good last week. But who were they playing? Who'd they play?
The 49ers?
Yeah, it was somebody. Oh, was
They
it
were-
New England?
Yeah, they were playing New England. Yeah.
That doesn't count.
Yeah. And then Washington was the team that went in and smoked Arizona.
Annihilated the Cardinals.
Yeah.
I think they can cover that, though. I don't know whether the Cardinals have got a pulse. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to stay away because I don't really want to lay 7.5. But I
It's
bet the Cardinals
totally
enough
too
to
much.
last for the rest of the year after this. So I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not touching it. I'm not touching this one either because I don't really know what either one of these teams really are. Still, the Packers are 3-point favorites against the Rams. It feels like they want you to bet the Packers bad in this game.
I know.
Feels like they should be more than this.
Didn't Love come back last week?
Yeah.
He did. So they're 0-2 with Love and 2-0 with the other guy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
The Rams just suck.
Yeah.
Okay, there'll be 2/3 more people there for Green Bay than the
Yep.
Rams.
It'll be a home game.
Yeah, it'll be a home game for the Packers. By the way, that Chargers-Chiefs games, that was pretty funny, wasn't it?
All Chiefs. Yep.
Yep. I got to take the Rams.
You took the Rams. Gosh, I don't know.
I don't think the Packers are that good.
Ugh. I guess I'm taking the Packers just so one of us will get it right at least. Give me the
Okay.
Packers -3.
That's good. Good theory.
All right, here it is. Kevin B's been waiting, and we are here. It's Giants time. The Giants are 1-3. They lost, but they still covered, so they don't count that as a win.
Make
But
me money. I love them.
you bet them, you won, and that's really all that matters. At
That's
the end of
right.
the day. The Giants, they go on the road to take on the Seahawks. What do you think?
You know what? The Seahawks, I thought they kind of made believers in me. They played really well against Detroit because Detroit played great. Offensively, Seahawks played great in that game. They just kept coming at him, Detroit couldn't pull away, finally did. They made believers out of me. Geno Smith's good, and he's got a lot of weapons on offense. Their defense is not real good, but the Giants don't have a very good offense either. I think they cover. I like the Seahawks after that performance. Now that was that a Monday night game? That would be the only thing. Let me back up. I'm going to take
Monday night and on the road.
I'm going to take the Giants plus the points, but I think Seattle wins.
Oh, we're not betting the Giants. Don't lie to people.
I won't bet it.
Don't try to appease Kevin. He'll come back next week.
Take it. I won't bet it.
Give me the Seahawks. That won't be any game up there. 14-point win for the Seahawks.
And you just like to make Kevin mad.
It is something I enjoy. All right, let's keep going here. The Cowboys go on the road to take on the Steelers. The Steelers lost last week, but it was okay. The Cowboys, are underdogs. The Pittsburgh's 2.5-point favorite here. What do you think?
You know what pissed me off in that Steelers game? I didn't know who would win.
Yeah.
But the point spread was all the way up to 40. And it's been 34, 36, and they've made it easy. So I said, God, it's 40. I think they were playing Indianapolis, weren't they? They were. And it ended up 27-24. That's what made me so damn mad.
Well, Josh Fields, I call him Josh Fields. There's an old Oklahoma State quarterback called Josh Fields. I always call him that. But Justin Fields, he made some plays in that game for the first time all year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, Dallas is better talent-wise. Pittsburgh is favored. And I don't know if I can pick Pittsburgh as a favorite against Dallas. Dallas won last week, and that was a good win. It was in New York. I don't like Dallas.
Was it a good win?
Well, it was a win.
Okay.
44.5. Dallas didn't light it up last week, that's for sure.
No.
Give me the under again in this one.
Right.
You know what? When I read some of these websites and their predictions, anytime I see somebody taking over
Yeah.
or under, it tells me they don't know who the hell's going to win the game. So they're just taking a flyer on the over under.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I'm doing in this one. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I think a lot of handicappers, they try to pick the games and like, oh, I don't know. Well, over under, we'll do that. Yeah.
Yes, that's where you go to next. Yes.
Yep. I'm with you. Pittsburgh for me. I think Pittsburgh is going to win. Give me the Steelers in this one. And finally, we'll go to the Saints and the Chiefs. Monday Night Football here. The Chiefs 5.5-point favorites in another game where it's like, well, sure, they should cover, and they either will cover or they either won't cover or they'll be so damn ugly you think they're not going to cover and they barely do.
Yeah,
that's my prediction.
You're going to be sweating until the end.
Yep.
The Chiefs are 4-0, which is exactly what you want to be. It doesn't matter how you got there.
Mm-hmm.
I think I heard somebody say that Mahomes is the 16th rated quarterback. With that quarterback rating system that they have.
He's been very average.
If you would say he is the 16th rated quarterback and they're 4-0,
mm-hmm.
and they've played some decent teams,
mm-hmm.
you would never say that, but they are 4-0.
Yeah.
Guys, their defense is nails.
Really
It
good.
is so good, and it doesn't get any credit. You talk about a team that can tackle.
Yeah.
Man, secondary will knock your ass off.
Yeah.
That McDuffie, and I don't know what number 32's name is, but he can tackle.
They're very fun to watch on defense. Yeah.
Their defense is carrying them.
Yeah.
I think Kelsey may be at the end. What do you think? He's not doing much.
Well, I think he's just older, and
He has lost a little bit of speed. Maybe
I think when you win and win and win, you're old. You kind of do realize, hey, I got to save it for November and December.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
It could be. Yeah. They lost the receiver last week. That's playing pretty good. It got hurt. So they're a little bit lacking in weapons.
Mm-hmm.
I could see them losing this game. I could. I don't think New Orleans thinks they can win.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can pick the spread. Can you?
I can. I don't think. I mean, I think it's like a 28-21 type game, 31-24.
Oh, then they cover then.
Yeah, I think they'll cover it.
All right, if it's 28 or 31, then Mahomes has played better.
I think he's not been good, but you're not worried about him really.
No, I'm not, but I would be if I was a Chiefs fan and they were 2-2, but they're not. So
that's fair. I
think he's not playing well. I don't know why. Maybe he's injured a little bit. I don't know, but their offense just looks off.
Yeah.
They're struggling. They're not smooth. They're shaky.
Yeah.
They just don't get in any kind of rhythm. Doesn't seem like it. He's throwing some balls behind people, and he's overshooting some of them, and just not him.
Mm-hmm.
He may come out of it. When it gets closer to Monday, I'll probably take the Chiefs to cover, I imagine, by that time. They should.
Yeah.
They should cover.
I think so. I think they will. I think they will cover.
If I was a Chiefs fan, I'd just be going for 4-0. That's all that matters.
Yeah, and it's so early. Like, everybody's panicked. I'm like, God damn, these games, it doesn't matter right now. For a team like the Chiefs, come on. They're not. They don't care about these games.
No.
Come on.
They really don't.
No. All right. So, any other thoughts on the NFL?
No. Let's get into this big topic or whatever you got here.
Well, we got to go baseball. So we only have one more wild card game, first round game, I should say, going on right now. It is game 3. The other series are over. We'll talk about those in a second. So the Mets and Brewers are in the top of the first. The game has started. It looks like the Mets have a runner at second with 1 out. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let's preview the baseball, though, the series coming up. Look at this from the perspective of a series, not who's going to win game 1, but who's going to win the series. Okay. So we have the Tigers and the Guardians kicking it off. This is going to be on Saturday, right around noon our time. Tigers, Guardians. What do you think? Who's winning this series?
Well, if you've seen Detroit, What a run. I think somebody was saying they were 10 games out in the middle of August, something like that.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah. I mean, they were having a better year, but they were well out of it, and they traded off a lot of their guys.
They traded Jack Flaherty.
Yeah,
who's
which is a guy they
good
really
pitcher.
could use right now for sure.
Yeah,
But
because he could start game one.
they took off.
They did. So, yeah, Flaherty's one of the best pitchers for the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm. He's starting. I bet he starts game. He might start game one of this series. Yeah.
The deal with the Tigers, I don't think they can start Skubal, the great pitcher, because he pitched Tuesday.
Yeah, I think he'll start maybe game 2 of the series.
Yeah, it'll have to be Sunday. Cleveland's got good pitching. They're Evan, you're
he's the MVP.
Yeah, you're going a little bit too far there. Flip Flaherty to game 2. Okay.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I can see Cleveland winning that first game, and the Tigers getting in a little bit of trouble. But when you're just winning every day, and you're young like they are, they don't know any better. Cleveland is not great. I think they did a great job winning 92 games. They're very consistent. They're beatable, though. I don't know who the Tigers throw out there. I don't know. I was talking to my buddy he's from Michigan, and he's a huge Lions and Tigers and Wolverines fan, and he's on cloud 9. He said, I think they'll try to bullpen it, which means throw somebody out there and get 3 or 4 innings out of him and turn to their bullpen, which, by the way, has been lights out. I think the Tigers are going to win the series. I do.
Yeah, I'm going to totally agree. I think the Tigers win, and I think they might win it in like 3 or 4 games, honestly.
Good.
I like the Tigers a lot in that series.
Now, in this round, is it best of 5?
Yes, best of 5. Yeah. Okay, Brewers or the Mets. That's going on right now. They're going to take on the Phillies in their first round. My thought, I think the Phillies beat either one of them. If I were the Phillies, I would be more scared of the Brewers, though.
Why would that be? Because their pitching is a little better.
I think their team overall is a little better. I think they got a little bit more firepower. I think they got a little bit deeper of a roster. I think their pitching, like you said, I think it's a little bit better. So I would give the Brewers a better chance than the Mets, but I still think the Phillies are going to beat either one of them. What do you think?
The Brewers and Mets are interchangeable. I don't think there's a huge difference between.
Could be fair. Yeah.
Now, don't the Mets have a little bit of bullpen issues every once in a while?
Yeah, I mean that's crept up all year with them at times. Yeah.
I'm with you. I think the Phillies are better than either one of them.
Yeah.
And the thing, a lot of times these teams that have had the bye, had this time off, they lose their edge sometimes, and you get one of these teams coming in there and they ambush them.
Yeah.
In the game 1. I like the Phillies, though. They have been so consistent all year long. Very good at home. They're solid.
Well, and to your point, the road team won 2 of the 3 series that have already finished already. So, there's been upsets already happening. 2 of 3, could be 3 or 4 if the Mets win. All right, Royals taking on the Yankees here. The Royals just went in there and just shut down Baltimore.
Scored 1 run.
Baltimore, though, had been pretty bad the last half of the season. But still, they just dominated a much different lineup against the Yankees. I still think this could be this could go 5. I'll say that. I think the Royals will battle, and I think they've got the pitching. But how much is that experience for the Yankees going to play into this? That's the question.
I know. And, the thing about the Orioles, they got injuries, but it was their pitching that was hurt. I mean, maybe they've got some other guys too, but their pitching was banged up.
Yeah.
And they got 2 great pitched games. Got shut out 1-0. Would you have ever thought that?
Yes, after watching them the last half of the season.
Okay, and last night
I was not surprised the Royals beat the Orioles.
Okay.
Not at all.
It kind of was that they swept them.
Look, I was shocked they scored 0 runs and 1 run.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm saying.
Back-to-back games, yeah.
Well, if you'd have told me with Burns pitching and the Royals score 1,
I
the
would have thought they
Orioles are
would.
going to lose.
Yeah.
So, and I think, what is that now? 11 straight postseason games they've lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you can almost say that was a choke.
Oh, I no argument. No argument. Yeah.
I don't think the Royals are going to beat the Yankees.
No, at the end of the day, I think the Yankees will win this series. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think this was an easy draw. Like, the Royals are not a bad team.
What a turnaround.
Oh, well, yeah, even if the Royals get swept, hey, it's a great season. Yeah.
Bobby Witt Jr. is fun to watch.
Oh, he's awesome. He's a great player.
How are they going to keep him?
Well, he's going to be playing for the Yankees in a couple of years, probably.
Right.
But
Or the Dodgers. Yeah.
no, listen, this Yankees team's good. I think the Yankees
They
win it.
are.
I don't think this will be easy.
No, they were struggling there in the middle of the season, kind of, and boy, they
Yeah.
turned it on, and they're really good. Their lineup's tough.
Yep, it is. Okay,
Yeah.
finally, the last one, the Padres and the Dodgers. I think this will be the best of the series here. I'll just go out and say it. I think San Diego's gonna beat them.
They got better pitching, starting pitching. That guy that threw game 1, King, I think his name was. That breaking ball was breaking 3 feet. There's no way you could hit that. You couldn't hit that with a boat paddle. There's no way.
No.
God, he was tough. And then the guy last night, for a long time until they took him out. Musgrove, I think it was. He was good too.
Yep.
The Dodgers are a little shaky on starting pitching.
And that's the key.
They don't have that guy that's going to shut you down. And San Diego can hit.
Mm-hmm.
They're red hot. They're playing better than anybody. I'll tell you this, though. You got to give the credit to the Dodgers because they kept winning.
Yeah.
San Diego put the pressure on them, and the Dodgers kept winning.
Yeah.
The other thing is, and I don't know what the season series was this year, but in the past, the Dodgers have always been able to beat the Padres.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm going to take them. I'm really looking forward to this one. This is going to be a fun one.
Total toss
I
up.
hope to see it in prime time.
Yeah. Total toss up.
It
Series.
is.
It's going to be awesome. Yeah.
It's too bad I'm just going to have to lose.
Yeah, I agree for sure. All right. Well, let's click it back over here. Let's see who's ahead. We got to get it's 1-1, and it looks like
Nothing.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I was looking at the hits. Nothing. Looks like the bats did not get a run in there in that first inning, so that's big. All right. Who do you think will win this game tonight, by the way? Mets or Brewers?
Everybody's picking the Mets.
I picked the Brewers.
I like the Brewers. I thought that was a great game last night. I watched the last 3 or 4 innings of it. I tell you what, that Milwaukee crowd is electric.
Mm-hmm.
They know what they're doing. And then when that guy hit that home run, wasn't that awesome? Unless you had money on the Mets. I think the Brewers win.
I loved the game last night. We had a lot of fun watching that game. Yeah, I like the Brewers a lot. I really do. But
I do too. I always have.
You know what? The Mets are a likable team too.
The Mets are fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
They just are.
Yep.
Milwaukee, great baseball town. It really is. Always has been. So is Detroit. Detroit's a really good baseball town.
Yep.
That place is going bananas up there.
Oh yeah. There's no doubt, and it's exciting. It's exciting to see it.
Hold on. When's the regular season start here?
Okay, so he has this Kevin B. He doesn't have any patience. He should have known I was going to get to this. This was my last thing. So the regular season for all the other teams will start on Tuesday. We'll talk about it in a second, but the global series starts tomorrow. So the Devils and the Sabres actually open up the season tomorrow. So he's got to know Devils or Sabres, who you got tomorrow night, NHL. I guess actually tomorrow afternoon, NHL.
Well, I'm going to have to look at the rosters, Kevin, and see how many players are from Czechoslovakia that might tend to lead to the crowd going for
There you go. Yeah.
I have. If you bet this, you're crazy. I mean, how would you bet this? I have no idea. None.
I think they play twice. Yeah, they'll play twice over here as well. So then Saturday they play again.
The Devils are better.
I think the Devils, they're pretty good. I think it's going to be a split. I think the Devils and Sabres split over there, but
You
I think
knew?
the
I
Devils
was gonna
win
say
tomorrow.
that too. Okay.
Yeah, Devils tomorrow.
All right. Okay.
Now the real teams play on Tuesday. Tuesday will be
Okay.
the opening of the NHL in
3:30.
yeah, in the United States. So the Blues, Kraken, Boston, and the Panthers, and then Utah opens up their season, their first game there in Utah. They take on the Blackhawks. So that's what you got coming
Utah
up.
Hockey Club.
Yep, Utah Hockey Club.
What is their mascot?
They're the Utah Hockey Club. They don't have a mascot.
Okay. Could be the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. But
Yeah, well, it's like the Washington Football Club when they were the football club.
yeah, that was stupid as well. All right. So the Blues open at 3:30.
Yep,
That's a
Blues
lot,
on the
don't you
road
think?
against the Kraken.
3:30 on a Tuesday afternoon.
It is weird, yeah.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
Very strange. Of course, that'd be 1:30 out there.
I thought it was
Well,
weird.
they should win. They should win the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to predict NHL very first game. You got to give them a week, I think, before you start really looking at it. But the Blues should be better for sure. I think that Bruins Florida game's a really good first game of the season.
That's an interesting game. Yeah.
Yep. I will be watching to see how the fans react to the Utah Hockey Club. See how fun that's going to be there. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
The Coyotes.
Yes, that's the Coyotes. Yeah. The Coyotes had a good little team last year for a while. So it'll be interesting to see how do they translate there in Utah.
I think it ought to be the Utah Hockey Club Mormon Tabernacle Choir Boys.
Yeah, the Mormons was a thing that was getting passed around.
You can't just do that, but you get Mormon Tabernacle Choir Boys.
I love it.
Of course, you could never get that on a uniform anyway.
No, it's too long. Too long.
Yeah.
Kevin B texting out the prices at the concession stand. This looks very good. $2 or $3 for a bottle of water, $4 for a hot dog, pretzel, popcorn, $3-4. That's unbelievable.
That's in Utah?
That's in Utah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's pretty incredible. Yep.
What was $2? What was that?
Water. Yep.
Wow. What is it at OU? $5?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, we got to pay the players.
Yeah, we got to pay that guy that's not playing.
Right, we got to pay our quarterback $1 million to sit on the bench. So, all right. So anyway, that's what's going on in the NHL.
All right. Man,
Tuesday will be a fun day for sure.
NBA will start before long too. So.
Well, that's great. All right. So anything else we got to talk about? I got one last thing, but if you got anything, we can do it.
No, I don't have anything.
All right. I told you this yesterday. This is big news in our neck of the woods for people my age, for sure. The band Cross Canadian Ragweed, it was a local legend, but not really local. Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, states like that. They were a legendary band. They broke up. They haven't been back together for 14 years. They're getting back together. It just announced today. Not only are they going to have a stadium show in Stillwater at Boone Pickens Stadium in Oklahoma State, they have to now have two shows. They have announced a Friday and a Saturday show. 125,000 people have pre-registered to buy tickets.
These guys need to come back.
There's 45,000 tickets that they're going to try to sell. They're going to sell out 2 nights of Boone Pickens Stadium. It's incredible.
For a group that the majority of the country doesn't know.
Yes. That's how great they were to the people like myself.
And they're in Stillwater because that's where they started.
Yes, they started in Stillwater. And this is a band that was just it has still obviously a cult following. Just
no doubt.
And we would go anytime they were within 100 miles, we would go watch them basically. Now this is a band that usually played in front of about 2,000 people, or 1,000 people even.
You were saying yesterday they never played in front of crowds like this.
No, I mean, we went and watched them at a small minor league baseball stadium. There may have been 4,000 or 5,000 people there, but Dierks Bentley was also there, right?
Oh, well, that's okay.
Yeah, so they didn't come just for him. But this band, it's Red Dirt music. It's Red Dirt country music is the genre. And this was the band that kind of created it. And anyway, there's tons of Red Dirt bands that might draw 300-400 people, but this was the leader. This was the big band. So they announced about 2 weeks ago, they were hinting that they were going to make a comeback. And then they announced like 3 days ago, they're going to play at Boone Pickens Stadium. And my buddies and I are all going crazy. And it's like, can they sell 48,000 tickets? I don't know. 125,000 people have pre-registered to buy the tickets. I am one of them. So they had to add a second show. So Friday and Saturday nights in April, it would be unbelievable if they could sell out both. And I think they're going to do it. So crazy time for us.
How much is the ticket?
That's the other thing. They have pledged to keep the tickets. I think they said over 80 or 70% of the tickets will be under $100. There's a certain portion that will just be $25 to $50. They're trying to keep it low because they want as many people as they can to come see him, because used to you could see him for like $10. So it's the cover to get into the bar where they were playing. So
Wow.
it is
a phenomenon.
It's the biggest deal in this genre of music ever. And I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me. He's like, can you believe this? This is unbelievable. And like I said, if they can sell out that place back-to-back nights, that's 100,000 people. It's pretty incredible.
It's Taylor Swift type stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a smaller venue, but not that much smaller. Yeah. But again, it's been 14 years. So one place that you've been to that you like, that Kane's Ballroom there in Tulsa, that was a place where they played a lot.
Yeah, that is a neat place.
I think Kane's may have been the last time I actually saw them play live.
That is a unique place.
Well, those were the type of places they played.
Oh, yeah.
To give you an idea, in Kane's, you could get 1,000 people in there.
Yeah.
But 48,000, that's quite different. So
that's a lot different.
Yeah. It's the most I recently I was talking to my my insurance agent is a big fan of Cross Canadian Ragweed, and we were talking about concerts and stuff. I said there's this was like maybe 6 months ago. I said there's only one band that I would go to. And seriously, I don't want to go to a concert. I don't like them. I said if they got back together, I would go. And then we both said, well, that's never going to happen. They hate each other.
So is this the original group?
Oh, yep.
Okay.
Yep. All the originals. So it's gonna be crazy to see it. I hate that it's in Stillwater, but at the same time, I can't wait.
Yeah,
so
it's a neat place.
Yep. So anyway, that's what's going on in my little world this week. So anything else before we get off?
But you might not get a ticket.
I'm worried about it because I got to get online Monday and just try to get them.
So they go on sale Monday.
Yep, Monday.
Well, just get on there as soon as you can.
Yeah, and we were all kind of laughing. It's like Oklahoma State. That's who's selling it. They're selling them through Oklahoma State. Is that that site's gonna crash? Probably. Because when have they had that many people on that website? Probably never.
That's right.
So, yeah, but
they'll be prepared for that. I think.
I mean, surely they will.
They will.
It's gonna be wild. So anyway, all right, that's it.
Unbelievable.
I know. I couldn't believe it either.
Can't either. Wow.
Okay. Well, anything else?
Nope.
Okay. We're good to go. We're going to get out of here. We're going to go watch baseball. Let's one more check of the baseball here.
What time did Baker come on? 7?
Yeah, Baker's about 45 minutes away here. So we got nothing going in the bottom of the second. All right, we're getting out of here. All right, guys. Thanks everybody for watching this week. We'll be back next week with more Dude Who Bet Sports. Good luck to everybody wagering, and we'll see you back here next week.
This is Dude Who Bet Sports.